guys, back again with another video. This is an out-of-the-box look at the new V10 line. This is going to be my new main set. As you guys probably know, I use Vaughn for my main sets. Been doing that for a while now. And this is the V10 blocker, glove, and leg pads. In my previous V9 set, I went with a Bauer blocker, but this time I wanted to give the whole V10 line a try. So that's what we got here today. Literally just came in today. Just got them out of the box. So this is just going to be, if you know how I do the out of the box videos. It's just an overview of like the build of the pads, whatever. It's obviously not a review or anything like that. That's going to come later after I use the pads for a while. But this is just going to go over any like changes, with new lines or whatever, how the pads are made, just some observations and whatnot. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's get started with the blocker. Now, again, if you saw actually, you know what? Hold up. Pump the brakes real quick, because this is a visual medium and you're going to see the graphic. I just kind of want to quickly show you what I did with the graphic, which I guess the easiest way is to show you the two leg pads first off, even though we're going to table that and talk about the leg pads at the end. So I went with what do you call, like a mirror or inverse color scheme going on here. So it's the same colors, navy, red, and white. But on the right side, it looks like this, and the blocker matches that since it's on my right side. And left pad looks like this, and glove matches the graphic on the left pad. So a couple reasons why I decided to go this route with the coloring, whatever, in the graphic. For one thing, as I've talked about plenty of times, Vaughn doesn't allow you to do custom graphics on new release gear. The wait is something like, 8 months or something along those lines before they'll start doing custom graphics. So I was stuck with this graphic, which, to be honest, I'm not crazy about. So just to kind of do something a little interesting with a graphic I don't like, I decided to do this like mirror inverse color thing. And, part of it was inspired by Martin Brodeur, who's my favorite all-time goalie. And some of his old Heaton stuff from the 90s had that look going where it was inverse colors going on. So it was a little bit of an homage to Brodeur and some of his Heaton pads. So that's why I decided to go with that. And I'm really happy with the way that turned out and looks. So I just wanted to say that and bring out the leg pads real quick to show you that, because if you see, I'm going to show you the blocker and then I'll do the glove after that, you're going to probably be like, wait a minute, what the hell? The colors are different. So that explains why you're going to see some different colors with the blocker and the glove. But as far as just the overview of how all this stuff is, I did want to start with the blocker. So here is the blocker. And with my previous V9 that I did video on set, I did get a set originally. My first V9 set did come with the Vaughn blocker, and I had been using Vaughn blockers with my previous Vaughn sets as well. The reason with my previous set, or my last V9 set before this, I decided to go with Bauer blockers instead of Vaughn, is I just kind of got tired of the way Vaughn blockers were. Mainly, especially after using the Bauer stuff and seeing how good their blocker was, and then going back to using my Vaughn blocker, I was like, just not cutting it. And I went with Bauer, and the Bauer Hyperlight blocker that I've been using with my V9 set, I absolutely love. However, I know they did come out and say they kind of did a little bit of redesign with their blockers, which have been basically the same for a while now. And so I'm like, all right, I'll give them another chance. So that's why I decided to go. Also, as far as it's just easier to match this graphic and everything. I mean, I guess I could have gotten Bauer to print basically this graphic on one of their blockers, but whatever. Between the fact that they redesigned it and specifically addressing some issues I had with their past blockers, I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. So we'll see how that works out. But yeah, just looking at it, I can see changes to it. I mean, in general, the thickness of this blocker board and the kind of shape of the blocker board is pretty much par for the course of Vaughn blockers from the past. So that much really isn't changed. Two main areas I noticed a difference in. One, the cuff is a little more open. You can see how open this is. So you put your hand in there, you can really bend your wrists, and the mobility is really good in it. So not that it was really, I would say, bad or a problem in past blockers, but it is more open in this one, and that is one of the changes they made. The other change, like big change that really was something that was an issue for me, is the sidewall. That was the biggest thing for me with the past blockers is the sidewall was just not very firm, and it would bend very easy. And once you start using it, didn't even take very long. Once you start using it, it would just get bent and rounded, and it would got like super floppy and whatnot. And I didn't like that. I like a really nice solid sidewall. That way, if you ever happen to catch a puck there, it's basically going to act almost like a two-sided blocker, and you don't have to worry about it skipping through, skipping in because it's very flimsy or whatever. It just helps seal off that whole side of your body when the sidewall is nice and firm like this. So it's definitely firmer, right? I do like they did improve it. It's not a Bauer though. I just, again, I haven't used this yet, but I don't see me coming out of a review of this saying that I like this better or even as good as a Bauer, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. As long as the sidewall holds up its shape better than past Vaughn blockers did, I'll be able to use it. I'll be fine with it, you know. Um, so yeah, I do see that they've improved that. We'll see, when I actually use it and as time goes by, how it holds up. But I do like that they did that. Let's take a look at the palm. So this palm has like a short grip area here, and then the finger parts are like a Nash material. Something that I believe they started this with the V9 blocker, and they're continuing with this. The index finger here, the Nash actually wraps around to the inside. On the other fingers, it's the traditional like mesh on the sides. But they do that with the index finger because they know there's more wear on this inside part of the finger because of how you hold a stick, and that's where this is really interacting with the stick a lot. So that's something they, like I said, they introduced. I believe it was the V9, maybe the V8, but I think it was the V9 they introduced it with. And it is a small thing, but it's one of those things where like it makes sense and you understand why they did it, and so it does help with wear there, whereas opposed to if you just had mesh there rubbing against the stick all the time. This finger protection here seems, again, pretty standard from what I've seen in the past from Vaughn. Basically, not much difference there. You got the Velcro strap there. Again, that's nothing crazy. That's pretty standard there. They did say that they moved the hand position. So if you're looking at it like this, the hand position got moved up a little bit, meaning the bottom of the glove sticks out a little further from the fingers than past blockers apparently. So that's going to give you a little better coverage, I guess, down low blocker in relation to where your hand is than maybe some other blockers, some past Vaughn blockers. The thing maybe I'm a little worried about is I do a lot of paddle down stuff, so I don't know if that's going to interfere, how that's going to feel when I do paddle down movements with this sticking out further than the fingers. I really don't know. It could be fine. I'm just throwing it out there that that's something I'm thinking of. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, it could just be an issue of me having to kind of angle the blocker a little more when I do it or whatever. But we'll see. We'll see. It could be a complete non-issue, but it's just something that crossed my mind when thinking about the different hand position. But I can see also, like I said, how that would help with the low blocker shots when you're just doing a standard butterfly or whatever. So yeah, there's not really too much to it. Like I said, a couple improvements, couple changes, but in general, familiar feel and look of a Vaughn blocker. But I'm definitely excited to see how this sidewall holds up, as that was my biggest issue in the past. Another thing I will say too is, in the past, the last time I had a Vaughn blocker, especially stands out in my mind, the V9 blocker I had, this front face of it tended to, over time, I don't know, kind of loosen up, I guess is the way to say it, and it would start kind of puffing out a little bit. It didn't stay like tight against the blocker. I really don't know why that is. So we'll see if that happens with this one, or like I said, I don't even know why that was happening, so I don't know what they would have done to improve that or whatever, but it's something that on other brands' blockers I didn't really notice, but for whatever reason, I had several Vaughn blockers that the face kind of started puffing out a little bit. I guess it doesn't really do anything. Like, I mean, it's just the Gen Pro. A force of a puck hitting it, it's still going to hit it against the padding, the hard carbon, whatever underneath. And that's which is another thing. There's a carbon face to this, which I believe is now standard. In the past, you had a custom order, tell them you wanted the extra carbon face. Now I believe it's come standard, as I didn't have to do that. I didn't put a custom extra order for that. That being said, again, I'm always comparing this to Bauer because I believe Bauer blockers are the best. It doesn't have quite the same hardness to the feel of it as a Bauer blocker does, but we'll see how it performs. It does seem pretty solid, so we'll see. But yeah, so those are just my thoughts on this, seeing it. Like I said, a few changes and how it looks, whatnot. That's the blocker. Now, let's move on to the glove. So here's the glove. As I said, this one is matching the left leg pad, so the colors are swapped from the blocker. So, and I'm going to delve into this a little more at the end when I talk about sort of an issue I have with Vaughn. But I'm going to touch on it here too. When I ordered this and when they first kind of showed the V10 line, the only glove they ever talked about or whatever is this one, just the standard V10 Pro Carbon glove. Recently with the V8, V9 lines, they've had an XP glove. They've had the standard V8, V9, and then they've also had the XP version. And in those past lines, the standard one it had a break. It was a 2-piece glove, and then the XP version had the solid cuff, and it was a little bit different build or palm break to it between the two gloves. Other than just the 1-piece or 2-piece, there was a little bit of a different feel between the gloves. So I've had the V8 XP and I've had the V9 XP glove, and I really loved them. Before that, with V7 and V6 line, I had their standard 2-piece version of the glove, and that worked fine. But the XP glove, once they came out with that, it just felt so good. It felt so natural closing it. I really loved it. It was based on a 590, a classic 590 glove that, like, from Lefebvre, basically. It was like Vaughn's version of that glove. So, and it just felt awesome. Like, I actually thought it felt like, because I've used a true Lefebvre 590 glove, and I thought Vaughn's version was actually better. I just really loved it. It was the best feeling glove I've ever had. I've liked other Vaughn gloves in the past, but it was just perfection. I loved it. When I saw this line coming out, and I saw this was the only glove they talked about. It was the only thing they showed. They didn't say anything about an XP or whatnot. So I was like, okay. And then I saw that now the standard one is 1-piece. So they've gone away from even doing a 2-piece as far as with the V10. Vaughn, you can always custom order older models if you still want the 2-piece. I don't know why there is a need for 2-piece personally. But anyway, just throwing it out there. So yeah, so I see this. I see they've gone now that it's just the regular glove is now 1-piece. I'm thinking, okay, the XP glove is really popular. Maybe they just basically decided to make that build their standard glove and go with that. So I didn't think too much of it, and especially, like I said, since I didn't even see any other version of a glove offered, I went with their standard V10 glove. It's not XP, it's just their standard glove. When I placed the order. After I placed the order, later on, I started seeing some stuff pop up on social media and from like goalie stores, not around here, I don't have goalie stores out here, but just goalie stores in other areas of the country or Canada, whatever. I saw a couple things popping up about an XP glove with the V10. I was like, what the hell did this come from? I didn't see anything about this. And I think even now, as I'm making this video, I mean, I haven't checked in, I don't know, probably a week since I've been on the Vaughn website, but they still don't have any info on an XP glove. If you look on their website, or at least up until pretty recently, and you look on the V10 stuff, they have like a catalog. All you see is this glove. There is no mention of an XP version or anything else. So, like I said, I had already ordered this, and I'm seeing now this XP. I was like, what the shit? Okay, thanks, Vaughn. So, apparently, they do have an XP version. Actually, they have a couple different XP versions. They have a 70 degree that they came out with, I guess, to try to fill that need in the market or whatever of people who like a 70 degree. I guess because it feels somewhat like a 90 degree, although Vaughn doesn't really have a 90 degree blocker. But I guess it's to kind of try to, people who like a 90 degree, 580 if you're talking in Lefebvre terms, they have an XP that's 70 degree that's supposed to feel similar. I haven't had it. I haven't used that. I couldn't really tell you about that. But so I saw that first. So I'm thinking, okay, but then that's not the same XP glove I liked because mine was not a 70 degree. It was a 60 degree 590 clone basically. Then a little later, I see some other stuff pop up on social media that there actually is an. Oh, actually, rewind that a second. I contact Whack. His nickname is Whack. He's the custom order guy at Pure Goalie. Love him. Great guy to work with. Been ordering custom stuff through him for a while now. So I contact him after I had seen the 70 degree XP glove, and I was like, oh, they're doing an XP glove? I was like, can I get the regular 590 60 degree XP glove? And he said at that time Vaughn was saying no, that they don't do that. They're the only XP glove they're offering is the 70 degrees. So I was like, okay, well that sucks, but then I guess it's a good thing I ordered this one. So again, now fast forward to, like I said, eventually I started seeing popping up on social media that, oh look, I'm at a store and there's the 60 degree XP, the classic XP shape, but it had the V10 graphics. Okay. So, talk to Whack again. He again talks to Vaughn. Apparently now they are willing to do a V10 graphic glove, but same build, same design as the V9, V8 XP, which is, again, 60 degree, 590 build, or clone, whatever. So, as of now, I'm probably going to go ahead and order a second glove. It's going to be the same graphics, same colors, but it's going to be the XP glove that I really love. Just because I know it's going to bother me knowing that there's that XP glove out there. There was a possibility that I could have it, and I don't have it. So, as of now, I haven't officially ordered it yet, but I'm almost 100% going to order that one. That being said, what we have here today to talk about is the stock V10 Pro Carbon glove. Now, the kind of funny thing about that is this is advertised by Vaughn as being a 60 degree break. So it should feel the same, right? What's the difference? It doesn't feel bad. It feels decent. It feels good enough. I mean, I can use it when I put it on and whatever. It's not that it feels terrible. I definitely could use it. It's just not quite that XP glove that I love. So I thought to myself, well, what the hell is the difference? It's a 60 degree. Why doesn't it feel exactly the same as the XP if that's a 60 degree too? So here's the thing with gloves, besides just the break angle of the closure. There's a certain perimeter size that is what's considered legal for a goalie glove. I believe it's 45 inches. But within that, other than saying your perimeter has to be 45 inches, there's no rule about like what size or what measurements you put of what section of the glove. Like, as long as it's 45 inches total, that's all. But it can be like a longer cuff, a smaller palm here, or this side's a little longer, and then this side's shorter, this side, you know what I'm trying to say. Like, there's different ways to skin a cat. So even though it's still a 60 degree closure break, I put it up next to my V9 XP glove, and I noticed where the difference was. In the V9, this piece that goes across the pocket here is longer. So it'll start here and it ends about another inch and a half lower here, meaning this piece is a little more elongated and facing down this way. So while the hand closure angle is the same, your hand position in the glove is a little different and the shape of the glove is a little different. So the feel is a little different. Like I said, it's not bad. 100% I could use this. And if they just decided to just be like, look, we're getting rid of the XP, we're not doing it with the V10, I would have been fine with this. I'm like, okay, whatever. I did really like the XP, but fuck it, I'll use this. It's great. And until it's gonna be a custom order with the XP, so it's gonna take a little while to get in. So I am gonna have to use it for a while. So it's gonna be fine. And look, this is the closure out of the box. I mean, it's closes nice. It's easy. It's just not the XP. And again, I'm going to get into this a little later, but what the fuck, Vaughn, with your marketing and telling customers what's available and what's out there. It's kind of fucked me with that. But anyway, I don't want to keep digressing to this. I'll get to this issue later. Let's just look at this glove. So again, 60-degree break, one piece. No longer are they doing the two piece as their regular stock glove. Backhand is pretty much similar to a lot of their past gloves. I'm sure if I got like a V9, their stock V9 glove, and their stock V8 glove, not the XP, you might see a little bit of difference of a position of a strap or whatever, but in general, the way this is like articulated and broken up and the way it attaches, it's pretty much what Vaughn's been doing for a while, so there's not a lot changed with the backhand. That's about the same. The palm has some reinforcements here and here. However, it does feel like there might be a little bit of a weak point here. Again, I haven't taken this out, so I gotta wait and see what it's like when I'm actually using this. I feel like I might be getting some stingers here, even more so than I did in my XP. I always get game ready. I don't like practice or pro palm. I like the glove to close the easiest as possible, which is game ready. So I'm willing to give up a little protection there. But that being said, I don't know. This feels even a little less protection for whatever reason than my V9 XP glove. And, it's been a while now, but even I would say like the V7, V6 gloves I've had, I don't know. Maybe it's just in my head. But I don't know. Maybe because in the interest of making the glove easier to close, they kind of took out some extra padding here where the break is, which it is easy to close. Like, I have to say that. But yeah, that is something that's kind of in the back of my mind to watch out for when I use it. How is it going to feel if I get a puck here? So we'll see about that. But I do definitely feel the reinforced padding here and here, which is in the V9s they have a name for it. I can't think off the top of my head. If you don't get the pro logos, I think they actually state what the name of their padding is for it. But there's a name they put for the trademark padding system that they have for this palm of the glove. So that's there. The wrist flexion is, again, about on par with past Vaughn gloves. Nothing crazy. In general, it's not anything blowing me away with this glove as far as anything new. It's, whatever. And I do like Vaughn gloves, so it's, it's not that I'm like upset about it really or anything. It's just that I wish I knew about the XP and I wish I just would have ordered the XP to begin with. But that being said, this isn't terrible. I'm not like hating it. It feels decent enough. I'm sure it'll be fine to use it for what it is. But so basically bottom line is if you've been using Vaughn gloves, it's very similar, a lot of the same. Depending on what glove and what break angle you've used in the past. But as far as just kind of the design of it and whatnot, it's very similar to what they've done in the past. It's nothing really big difference, change, or whatever. So if you like Vaughn gloves, I don't think you have a problem with what they're doing with the V10 stuff. And if you don't use Vaughn gloves, maybe give it a try, because I think Vaughn makes the best gloves as far as easiest to close, most comfortable, that kind of stuff. I know a lot of people like Lefebvre style gloves, but I think those are fine, but for me, the Vaughn gloves are the best. As far as on the inside, it's got like this Sure Grip liner thing. It has a little bit of like a slight tackiness to it to help keep your hand in there. All kinds of, again, standard wrist strap. There's a strap over here for your hand. It's very basic. Again, I'm not going to get too much into it because it's very basic. It's something you've seen a million times before. So that's the blocker. Let's move on to the leg pads. So other than did I say that's the blocker? That's the glove, sorry. Let's move on to the leg pads. Now, other than the blocker, or even more so than the blocker, the leg pads probably have the most like new stuff to them. Glove is pretty much almost nothing new. Blocker, I went through a few things change. let's take a look at the leg pads, because the leg pads, pretty interesting, some of the stuff they decided to do with this now. So, if you're not familiar with my past orders of Vaughn, I do custom, but besides colors or whatever, graphic, um, I customize the build. So this is not a stock build, so this pad would not feel the same as a stock off-the-shelf V10 Pro Carbon pad. I get the softer build and the soft boot. That's how I've been getting it for my last two V9 sets. With before that, I had V7, V6. With the V7, V6, their stock version of the pad seemed fine because Vaughn was just producing softer pads then. Kind of starting with the V8 and more so with the V9, their stock pad became a little stiffer, as across the industry, all pads have been getting stiffer. So I had to do custom build to make them feel more like those V7, V6 pads. So I did that same custom build with the V10s because I just love that feel. So it's going to be a little more flexible, a little softer than the stock V10 Pro Carbon. That being said, other than that, most of the other stuff is going to be the same. So even if you wouldn't order the softer version, a lot of stuff you're going to see in this video is still going to apply to a stock V10, or even if you get like a stiffer, if you go custom and go stiffer, a lot of the stuff I'm going to talk about is still going to be pertinent to you. So let's see, what should I start with? Okay, let's go from the bottom and go up. The boot. Now, I'm comparing this to my V9s. So, and again, I get the soft boot. The stock one may be a little different than this as far as the angle, or you might have to break it a little bit, but I know even the stock is supposed to be kind of a soft boot. And you can see it's like very, like an L shape. Like it comes straight flat this way. There's not much of an angle. There's really no angle. Like even other boots that are advertised as a flat boot or whatever, a lot of times there'll still be like a little bit of an angle, or you, at least at first before you use it and kind of break it a little bit. This one, you see how flat this boot is. It's super flat, and I love it. That's what I really like. You know, for a while, there was a trend where you wanted a steep boot, or I mean, I didn't, but a lot of people did. Now it's like everybody's saying, oh, you got to get the flat boot, which is always what I've liked. So, hey, good for me. But yeah, so if you want that flat boot, this has it in spades. I really like that, you know, and like I said, you know, I get the flexible boot. It's the pad in general, even though I got the flexible boot, flexible build, I feel like it's a little stiffer than when my V9s were new. And again, same build, soft boot, soft build on the V9s. Now, but that's across all builds, because the stock V10, which I actually was able to see in a store when I was up in New Jersey recently, Monkey Sports, the stock V10 is even stiffer than the stock V9 was, which was stiffer than the stock V8. Like I said, this is just the industry. Every new generation is like, they want to make a stiffer pad. So just keep that in mind as you're ordering. No matter what build you're ordering, is going to be a little stiffer than the previous generation V9. Okay, so even though this is the soft, out of the box, it feels stiffer than my soft V9s were out of the box. That being said, it's not that it breaks in a lot, but there is somewhat of a break in. Even with the V9s, they got even a little softer than brand new. So like right now, my V9s are just ridiculously soft. So these will probably even still get a little soft, but even as of now, even with being a little stiffer out of the box than I felt like my V9s were, it's still softer than a lot of probably almost any other pad out there. So if you're going for any one of the new lines of pads and you like a soft pad, the V10 with the options of soft build is probably going to be the only one that's really, I would say, is soft. Or flexible, however you want to term that, but you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, so that also goes with the boot. Again, there's going to be some breaking in, it's going to loosen up a little bit, but in general, again, out of the box, it's not the same flexibility as the V9, but it's super flat anyway, and that's really like what I want out of the flexible boot, is to get it this flat. But if it's already this flat, just in general, I don't really need it to flex that much anyway, because that's what I like. So if that's just its standard form, that's fine with me. On the underside of the boot, a change they made is there is absolutely no channel now. It's just completely flat. It's this quick glide or whatever material here. In the past, well, older models definitely had a really defined channel here. With the V9s, there was a channel, but there was also like a padding there that kind of, I don't know, it was kind of weird because it kind of worked against each other. So it's like you have a channel, but you got padding that sticks up almost like a riser. So it's like, well, why do you have the channel? It's canceling each other out. But even with the padding would give a little bit, and your foot would sink into this a little more. This one is just completely flat. Your foot is going to be just flat here. The pad is not going to like sink around or into your foot like past Velocity models have, which could possibly affect sizing. I got the same size with these pads as I've been getting for a while. Part of that is because of the soft build. Part of that is because just the way I wear my pads, it doesn't rely on this part really sitting on my boot that much. It's more like this part of the pad that sits on like my higher ankle area is like, I feel like the main contact point of the pad on my skate. It's just the way I wear it. So I don't think this is going to affect me that much. And I have to make these decisions. Again, I have no store here or whatever. I have to kind of just make these decisions best guess type of thing. So, and you know, with the V9s, people were saying, oh, the V9s fit bigger than past Vaughn pads. But like, again, with the build I got and the way I wear my pads, it didn't end up fitting any bigger on me. I've been wearing 34+2 with Vaughns since the V6, and they've all fit the same on me. So, you know, we'll see. But with these, I went 34+2 as well. But this is, again, something to call out, a different build on the pad that could possibly affect how it sits on you, especially if you're ordering just the stock version or buying just the stock version of this, and especially just depending how you strap it, how it sits on your leg, all that kind of stuff. Could make you need to have a different, smaller size, whatever. So yeah, that's the difference in the boot here. Let's look at the leg channel. Okay, a lot of straps to get out of the way here. Leg channel. It's like the width of it seems about the same as my V9s, and in general, it seems pretty similar to the V9 leg channel. This material is different. I've never personally, I mean, maybe, I don't know if the SLR, maybe I don't use the SLR. Maybe have used this before. In the Velocity line, I have not seen this material. I'll put it a little closer. I don't even really know how to describe that. It has like a little bit of like a leather look to it, but it's 100% not leather. It's not that. That's not what it is at all. But I just don't know how to describe it. I don't know what this material is here. But in the past, it's been, I don't know, it's either just been nylon or like up here, it's been like more of a sure grip thing. But this is all this material here that they used on it. It's all the same. The knee and the shin part. How that might affect it, I couldn't tell you. My guess is I don't think it's going to feel any different. You're going to really notice anything. It's just what they go with. Like I've had all different kinds of pads. They use different kind of materials there. I don't notice a difference in material they use there. So the channel itself, like the shape of it, the width, nothing really new here. What is new is the strapping. So they've done away with, quote, the professor strap, but they basically have a professor strap, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. So the way the strapping on this works now is there's like these two inner straps. This one is what I said is basically professor strap. So, oh, we don't have a professor strap. Well, what the hell would you call this? It's basically in the same spot as professor strap, the same thing as the professor strap on my V9s. So, yeah. The other thing, though, is you can remove this and this strap. You can remove it, and also there's a secondary connection point on the outside of this wrap piece on the calf. So if you want this to really like hug your calf and wrap around your calf, you can attach this and this, then remove it here because it's all just Velcroed, and attach it to these parts on the outer side of this, and have this really wrap around your calf. I personally don't like my calf to be that claustrophobic. So I will not be doing that. I'm going to leave this where it is here, and it's going to act as the professor strap for me, and it connects to this piece right here. I am most likely going to get rid of this bottom piece. I've never felt I needed a strap where this is located, and like I said, it's removable. So this is probably gone for me. Just whatever, but hey, you might want it and whatever, but it's just good that they give you these options, right? You can remove these, you can use them if you want, you can change the position and put them out here. So it's cool that they have all these different options with the strapping. I think overall it's an improvement, it's something better. In general, more options is usually better. But like I said, specifically talking about this whole professor strap thing, it's basically a professor strap on the top. So then besides that, once you decide what you want to do with these two straps, then there's just kind of like the classic outer strap that closes off this whole area out here. It's pretty much the same as it was in the V9. The only kind of difference, very minor cosmetic, is on the V9s, this part was like a Gen Pro piece. In this one, it's just all this elastic. Just kind of makes it look a little cheaper, but it's really not going to change anything. Yeah, so you got this other bigger strap that goes along and just kind of closes everything off. And that's the strapping on the calf part. On the boot, they changed this up a little from the V9. So the standard V9 had Velcro boot strap. This one, they're going back to a buckle system, and it's adjustable. So this was just how it came out of the box. This is adjusted to be worn more behind the skate. You can switch it up to be worn under the skate, which is how I use it. So I'm going to have to switch that out. Very easy. You just unscrew these and you can turn it down to go under the skate. Same thing with the other end of the boot strap. It's adjustable how you want it. Right now it's set for behind the skate. You can move it down coming out of here to be under the skate. And the part of the design that's the same as what they've been doing is how it's elastic, and then you got this part here that's like the classic Gen Pro strap, but the elastic piece makes it has some give, so it's not as harsh on your ankle or whatever if you do use it. But a lot of people these days don't even use a boot strap, so if you want, just remove it, take this off, remove that. You don't need the boot strap. But again, kind of the theme with this, more adjustability, more options with the boot strap here. I like that. It's cool. Going up to the knee. As far as just the strapping, it's very basic and standard. You can strap it across. You can strap it down at the calf, which is how I do it. And the strap itself is just this elastic Velcro. That's basically what they've been using for a while now. No big deal there. You see this, Gen Pro strap. I add this as part of the custom order I do. This and the strap at the thigh rise. It's not stock. Your stock pad would not come with those. I just like it personally. I like the top strap here. I feel like it helps pull the thigh rise in a little bit. The one on the knee, I need it probably less, but it's just more of like a comfort and familiarity thing. And I do feel like the little bit of a function I feel like it does provide is it kind of helps not have your pad right up, especially when you strap the elastic knee down to the calf. It can kind of make your pad right up a little bit, but having this going across the knee negates that. Also, in past Vaughn models, this knee flap is very loose, and this can kind of help reel it in and tighten it up so it doesn't flop as much. But that brings me to a change with this pad, the V10. They definitely stiffened up this knee block, which was probably about the only issue I mentioned in my video on the V9s. As I said, they could, it was pretty damn floppy. And in a day and age where everyone's heading for a really stiff knee block because of weight transfer seal, all that kind of stuff, whatnot, I just thought it was a little outdated to have your knee flap as floppy and loose as the V9s was. They've definitely addressed that with this. Now, it's no Bauer or CCM where they have it built into the pad, but it's definitely, it's pretty different, pretty stiffened up from the V9s when you compare the two. So you can see this. yes, there's give because it's not built into the pad, it's still attached to it, but it's a lot more solid than in the past. Now, how do they do that? Part of it is just the way they laced it in. Let me try to open this up here. The way I don't know really if you can see it good, but the way they laced it in, they just really laced it in good and tight. So that, of course, is going to help. But the other thing, too, is, this is all sticking to everything here. So this knee piece here is all one piece that comes from here, and it attaches to this front knee piece, and that can be taken off, which in the V9, this was its own separate piece that was just sewn in. It was just part of the pad. It had nothing to do, you couldn't take it off, whatever. And this part was its own separate thing attached to the knee block, which actually was a change from older Vaughn pads, which did have more of a one-piece thing that went across like this. Why they did that with the V9s, I couldn't tell you, but I guess they realized their mistake, and that really wasn't the way to go. So now with these, this is once again one piece with the front knee here that goes on the back face of the pad, and that also helps to keep the knee block in place and kind of stiffen it up a little bit. Oh, these Velcro is driving me crazy here. So as I was saying, there's this knee flap out here that is an option. I don't use it. I'm going to take it off. What I think is kind of cool, though, is in the past, removable knee flaps were always laced in, and you had to just untie it and take it out. Not that that was like a real difficult thing to do, but it could take a little extra time. This is super easy, and I like what they did with this. So, like I said, this piece here is removable, so it reveals this other Velcro area here, and that's where this is actually not laced in, but attached. So it goes through this Gen Pro piece, and it goes into there, and then you take it out, and now it's gone. And that's how I'm going to keep this anyway, so I'll just do that now with you guys and leave it off. But yeah, so I just think that's a cool, really easy way to put it on, take it off, whatever. I mean, it's a small thing, but I like it. I think it's an improvement over just the lace-in system. So that's how you remove that. But yeah, then other than that, I mean, it's the classic Velocity kind of look, right? You got your knee rolls on the front. They say that they lessen this outer roll so it doesn't stick out as much. I don't think maybe they did a little bit. It doesn't look that different to me, and honestly, I don't really care. I don't have an issue with the outer roll either way. I've used pads that have basically no outer roll. I've used pads that have a more pronounced outer roll. I don't really notice a difference personally, so cool. Okay, you made it not stick out as much. Whatever. Something to tell you guys, but I don't really care about that. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about this. Just I know something else I wanted to point out. I don't know why they did this. A little bit of a curious decision for me, but the V9s had a calf pillow here. Most other pads have calf pillows currently. It was, it started trending a few generations of pads ago, and it became super popular, and it just became standard in just about every pad that was coming out. There's no calf pillow in this one. Now, did I think the calf pillow in the V9 made a huge difference? No. But at the same time, I don't know why they thought it was like bad or that they needed to remove it for this. Especially, like I said, since most other pads, most other brands all put calf pillows in now. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I notice any kind of difference with this. I don't foresee that I will, but I don't know. Just kind of weird that they decided to not use a calf pillow in this one. But whatever. It is what it is. So yeah, that's like the build and look of the V10. So just to kind of recap, I just want to really point out the changes. Stiffened up knee block, which again, it was about the only complaint about I had the leg pads of the V9, so that's cool that they addressed that. And same thing with the blocker, right? I feel like the two things not that I talked to Vaughn or have anything to do with them, but it's kind of cool the two things that I had a problem with or would have pointed out, they seem to have addressed. The sidewall on the blocker, the knee block on the pads, stiffened up. the lack of a channel at the boot, and just a general stiffer pad. Even again, top to bottom throughout the different builds. You want the soft, you want the stock, you want the extra stiff. It's going to be stiffer than any of those builds in the V9 for the most part. So we'll see how this goes. You know, I'm gonna try to start to use it, and we'll see. I'm obviously gonna do a review after using it for a while. But yeah, so those are pretty much my thoughts and kind of, initial thoughts and look out of the box of how all this stuff is built and whatnot. So now I just want to talk about a little issue with Vaughn that I have. It's not really anything new other than the whole glove incident I started getting into, but I find it kind of annoying the way Vaughn runs their company at this point. I love their gear. I love how it feels. It's the gear that just fits me and my style the best. So it's like really hard for me to try to get away from Vaughn. But man, it's getting really hard to put up with them. It seems like as the years go by. So one thing is this whole, we don't do custom graphics on new release pads. I've never heard any compelling or good reason why that is. Brian's does it. Bauer, you can do their digiprint. CCM with now they do printing, you can do it. Any company that offers custom graphics other than Vaughn will do custom graphics on new release pads. So you're a custom, you pride yourself on doing custom work and all this stuff. Why the fuck can't we get custom graphics? I don't like this graphic. Let me get the graphic I like. I've complained about this before though, so that's not new. Okay, but that's always, whatever. So that's something that's been there for a while now that I've been annoying with Vaughn for me. Then in general, like I was touching on with the glove, man, their like promotion and their information stream of their lines and what they offer and what they're willing to do, it sucks, man. Why do you not tell us what you're offering with the gloves? Tell us the different XP models and breaks you're offering there so we can order what we want. And then this is not, I'm not putting this on whack at all. He's the middleman, me trying to find out information from Vaughn, but it's like, it just seems like it's like pulling teeth to get information from them as far as what you can order and what they're offering and all that stuff. And, I ask him, he tries to ask them. It's, he's telling me it's, kind of hard to get information out of them. He's trying his best to relay. So I don't put this on whack at all. I put it on Vaughn. It's just really annoying. And even just seeing if they would do like this swap color graphic was a little bit of back and forth. Well, and finally agreed to do it. But it's like it's getting to be more and more of a hassle to deal with them. I don't know why. Why does that need to be? And this glove thing was just super annoying to me because I would have liked to just get the glove I really wanted to start with. Again, not that this glove is terrible. I feel like I can use it. It's all right. But if you would have been upfront about what gloves I could order, I would have just ordered the one I wanted off the bat. And it's just weird that like it's not on their website. It's not in their catalog. It's not on their social media. It'll just randomly pop up on like some store or some other social media person or whatever. Be like, hey, look at this Vaughn glove. Like, what? Where did that come from? So that's fucking annoying. Final thing, kind of annoying. And look, they made it right, but still kind of annoying. And I got to call it out because you call out, I've called out Bauer and stuff, and Bauer gets a bad rap. So I believe it was on the red pad. Before, this actually could have been delivered about a week ago. Before Wack was going to send it out from Pure Goalie to me, he's doing his due diligence. He looks over the pads when he gets it. He noticed there was a stitch kind of missing. I believe it was on the edge of this here. It was just a little area, just a little edge here. For whatever reason, I don't know what the hell happened. There was just this corner that wasn't stitched. It was just open. You could kind of see the inside of the bag. Was it a huge thing? Probably not. And I mean, I probably realistically could have just gotten some string and sewed up the little. I mean, it was only like a maybe inch and a half section, something like that, small section. Probably could have been fixed easily by myself, but man, you're spending a lot of money on this stuff. You're ordering it, you're getting, it's a custom set. Vaughn usually is kind of known for decent quality, at least. I don't know. It's just not a good look that happened. So whatever, he sent it back, and I mean, there was no issue by them. They fixed it. No, they weren't arguing about it, or no problem from them. They fixed it. But I don't know, like, how are you gonna let that leave your factory? You don't look at it. I mean, even though it was kind of a small thing, it's pretty obvious that wasn't there, and if it wasn't fixed, it might have developed into a bigger issue. But so I gotta call him out on that. That's not a good look from Vaughn, and so it's just like all these different things kind of building up, man. And while I love the feel of their pads and whatever, the Velocity line, man, I kind of wish I could get away from Vaughn, to be honest. If I'm being 100% honest, I wish I didn't have to deal with this shit that I don't like from them, and I wish I could find another brand that has this exact same feel of the stuff that I like. But as of right now, we'll see how it goes with this V10 set. It just feels perfect. The glove, especially the glove and the leg pads. The blocker, I actually like Bauer blockers better, but the glove and the leg pads, man, I can't get away from Vaughn. Haven't, and you see all the gear I use and review in here. I've yet to be able to find another brand that can produce something that just feels as perfect. I've used other stuff that I like. I like the Optic 3. I like the Bauer Hyperlight, but it's still just not quite up to this level. So as of right now, I'm kind of just still stuck with Vaughn and putting up with their shit. No, I don't like it, but whatever. So that's my little complaint at the end of the video here about some stuff. But hey, overall, look, I'm excited I got these. They look great. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Excited to get on the ice with them, use them, and so it's gonna be a little bit, but look out for a review in the near future after I've used it and whatever. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. I know it's pretty long, but there was definitely some changes to this line that I really wanted to point out and talk about, and just some other things in general, like this complaint stuff that I wanted to put in the video. So yeah, it's kind of a long video. Sorry. I've been kind of working to make my videos a little shorter because I know they're super long. I know most people aren't going to sit here and watch long ass videos, but you know what? If you're really interested in the gear, I guess you will watch it. But whatever. If you don't, you don't. Hey, it is what it is. So that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.